here we go. So just like the lady said, we're recording just now. So welcome along. We're talking about LinkedIn, and we are unashamedly talking about brilliant basics. And it's a small call. I keep this fairly open, and it's fantastic to have people from around the world. You're never quite sure who's going to kind of show up. But Carl from New York City, man, I take it you're going to come off of mute, but whatever questions you've got, if you have any, by all means, put them in the chat box and I'll get to them if indeed I can. That'd be marvelous. So this is unashamedly then the brilliant basics of LinkedIn. So Carl, can I just ask you, how long have you been on this LinkedIn platform?
I'm ashamed to say that I have not been utilizing LinkedIn, although I have been on it for probably 7 years.
Okay.
All yeah, right. I'm scared, man. I'm scared to post.
Well, listen, thank you for having the courage to express that. It's a thing, I come across it all the time. I've been on here since 2004. And when I think I was in the first million or so worldwide, but came onto LinkedIn. And do you know something, Carl? I still have that sort of pang of, I'm going to call it anxiety, because I'm not a psychologist. I'm sure it's something much more specific than that. But I am going to call it anxiety for the purposes of this call. And I'm going to call it, I still get that. So you are not, certainly not alone in that. I promise you that. Hey, Linda, thank you. Welcome to the call. Wow, that is a beautiful background, Linda. Welcome to the call. Same for Carl. Carl's in New York. Actually, Carl, I should have mentioned I'm in York as well, but the old one, about 200 miles north of London. And about 1,700 years older than New York. AD 71, the city was founded by the Romans, who, what did they ever do for us? Quite a lot is the answer, obviously. But anyway, so listen, hopefully you can see on your screen right now, we're talking about LinkedIn brilliant basics. So it would be really good, and it's a small course, so I won't go here, but it'd be interesting to find out how you currently score yourself. You don't have to disclose that out loud. How you would currently score yourself in terms of confidence using LinkedIn. Don't have to do that. But if whether you've been on there 10 years or 10 minutes, it doesn't matter. I'm going to see if I can get you about 20% higher, which I recognise is if you're already at 8 out of 10, that's a tough call. But if you're lower down, less than 5, I'm going to try really hard to do that. This is a small call, deliberately so. We are recording it. And if you've got any specific questions, then by all means, give me a shout and I will try and do something. If we don't get time to do it on this call, I will follow up with a video for you just now. Okay, brilliant. So in a nutshell, as I was mentioning to Carl just now, I've been in sales for business to business corporate sales 34 years on the 1st of August. I must change that, but which is actually older than most of my coaching clients, and that's just the world we kind of live in. So I've worked for some pretty big brands, HP, EDS, people like that, sold into telecoms and investment banking over the years, and LinkedIn is very central to my role, which I now run my own business training company. It is very, very central to that. So it's not all I do, it's minuscule in terms of revenue, and this is for free, so that's an example of that. But in my sales training, LinkedIn, it features very, very heavily. Okay, so I've worked on business of all different types of sales, from what I would call high volume, lower cost, from $45, let's say, for broadband per month, right up to a big software outsourcing deal a few years back, but over $1 billion US, 1.3 billion US. And selling is the principles of sales, no matter what you're selling, are more or less the same. Sometimes there's a few more people involved in making a decision, and some are a little bit more complex, but actually they're pretty similar. And now I run a business-to-business training company. So that's me. I work with business schools as well. So my business is two-stranded, really. I work with, should we say, SME business owners or sales professionals on improving their sales skills, of which LinkedIn is part of that. And I'm also very passionate about bringing on the next, should we say, generation of sales professionals. So I work with business schools at Lancaster, Aston, and Old York, Carl, Old York. So I'd love to go to Stern. If you know anyone there, give me a shout. Okay, right. So you're very welcome to subscribe. I have a website, salesmarvel.co.uk. Why am I called Sales Marvel? It's not because I like Black Widow or Spider-Man or anything like that. It's because when I was on Canary Wharf, selling to investment banks, things like that, I was known as Mr. Marvelous because I'm relentlessly positive, a bit like Jimmy Wales, I guess. And I just think there's a way through everything. There's the ability to solve anything. So hence the name Sales Marvel seems to be a good way of linking back with that history. Okay, so I'd love you to subscribe to my website. And in order to doing so, you'll be able to download a PDF on how to, on 7 top tips to deliver a great sales pitch. Okay, so what are we covering today? What is LinkedIn? Most people will be able to explain what that is. And we'll talk about ground zero. We'll talk about your social selling index if we get time. Most important thing is actually, what are you on LinkedIn for? What would you like LinkedIn to do for you? And Carl, do you mind if I ask you that and put you on the spot a little bit? What idea, if you could wave a magic wand, what would you like LinkedIn to be able to do for you?
Well, I have a startup travel company, and I would like to reach out to both businesses and individuals because I think that since most of the employees are millennials, that travel is something that they really enjoy, and it can be used as a attraction and retention mechanism for companies. So I would like for folks to consider taking on my travel company to hold on to their employees.
Okay, so it's a talent attraction strategy for you. That's interesting. So it could be another thing. Carl, Linda, thank you for that. 5. Okay, I'm going to try to get you both to about 7. Yeah, it's been a little bit quiet. Okay, so I'm going to rush through this. So that's interesting. Linda, if you prefer not to speak, if you want to put your raison d'etre for being on LinkedIn, you're very welcome to put that in the chat, and I'll keep a monitor on it. But I'm only a bloke, so I'm not very good at multitasking. Okay, so safety and security. LinkedIn is part of your what I call a go-to-market strategy. Does that translate, Carl, in a go-to-market strategy? Does that translate for you at all?
Well, I'm not sure.
Okay.
I just know that millennials change jobs often, and this, my thinking is that if employers give them what they want, which is like travel and experiences, maybe they'll stick around.
Yeah, that's a really good shout. So, but what I've been, and you're absolutely right, I think. What I mean by a go-to-market strategy is literally for your company, you have sales messages, come to my company because of reasons A, B, C, and then you will take those messages to market. You'll take them to market on your website, on your social media, including LinkedIn. You might do some in-person networking, and that could be part of your go-to-market strategy as well. So you get the feel, you get on.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So I'll show you how to search and research for prospective clients. Although this isn't necessarily, we can do a limited amount in the 45 minutes or so we've got left on this call. You'll understand that, but this should get you to a pretty good place. Okay, show you how to connect with people. There's a protocol, a best practice, if you like, for that. And what makes for an engaging post. And Carl, you are in a really cool sector. I mean, no doubt it's been hit really hard over the last 3 years or so. In the city that I'm in, York, the old one, north of London, we are overly exposed to the hospitality and the travel industry, tourist industry. And so since the pandemic, you can imagine that York was very, very quiet during the pandemic because no tourists were coming here. We have something like 200,000 local residents like me that live in the heart of the city, and something like 8 million tourists a year coming to. Yeah, incredible. So we are, it kind of feels a little bit like a fun fair, fairground attraction sometimes, but that's the world we live in, and that's fantastic. And you know what, they bring their dollars here, or their rupees, or whatever it happens to be, and we love them, and may they continue coming. But so what I mean is, by an engaging post in the travel industry, you can put some beautiful images up on screen, and I find travel very engaging for the same reasons that the millennials, which you seem to be targeting, Carl, for the exact same reason. Let me just go to my chat, because I think someone's put something in there. Oh, Linda, there you go. There's no limits to the number of cold call type outreach that can be done. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So before you get into LinkedIn jail, Linda, just to answer that one, about 100. So you can send about 100 per week. And now some of one of the caveats that goes with that, by the way, is it depends how many people, because when you send a connection request, it will say accept or ignore. If too many people ignore your connection requests, it's going to assume that you're spamming. So the higher that's why it's really important to do best practice around who you target. So if something like more than 60% of all the people that you send connection requests to, the higher your success rate, the more connection requests you'll be allowed to accept each week, because the LinkedIn algorithm, that's the world we live in, algorithms, it will assume you're targeting the right people, you're not spamming, etc., etc. So just good question though, thank you for that. You're going to keep me on my toes, Linda, I can absolutely tell that, that's fine. And then we'll have a bit of Q&A if you've got any time, but actually it's a small call. If you've got any questions that are really burning you, just ask me right now, and let's have it. This is not meant to be a lecture. We've all been through too many of those. This is meant to be interactive, so keep them coming. All right, so LinkedIn, 760 million or so. This has gone up since in approximate distribution around the world. One of the biggest growing regions in the region of or continent of Africa, really on fire just now. And the only country in the world that you can't do LinkedIn is in Russia, and that's because they in their legislature, if you do any business in Russia, you have to have your data centers, your data, it has to be housed and accommodated in Russia. LinkedIn didn't want to do that, and they're probably grateful for that decision just now. But that's what there are ways that through proxy servers. I'm not an IT expert, but there are ways that you can access LinkedIn, but generally in Russia, you can't do that. In China, you can access LinkedIn, but not the full suite, but it is possible to access LinkedIn in Russia. Okay, brilliant. That's me in Old York. Right. So here's one of the points you're going to have to think about. We almost certainly won't get to the bottom of this today, but I want to stir those brain cells a little bit, because you know those 760 million people I just talked about on LinkedIn. Here's my question for you: is how are you going to stand out? How are you going to stand out on LinkedIn? So you're a travel, I'm going to call you a counselor, Carl, if that's okay. That's what we would call them here in the UK, travel counselor. And American Express, when American Express used to send me away, they would be called travel counselors there as well. So I think that's a global term. So I've got to believe there's 1 million people with businesses just like yours, Carl. That's the way of the world that we all work in. Just like there are probably 1 million sales trainers out there, and I absolutely know there's 1 million LinkedIn trainers out there as well. There's just loads of them. So what are you going to do to stand out from the crowd? We're not going to be able to answer that just now. What's so good about you? That's the question I'm asking. What's different about you? In my sales career, and this is why sales is important and LinkedIn is important sales, is that being different is actually easier to articulate. What makes you different? It's easier to articulate than what makes you better. So the reason you're different is, and then fill in the gaps thereafter. That's where you're going to have to get to. I realize I haven't told you what knobs or buttons or whatever to press on LinkedIn, but if you take one thing away from this session here today, it's how am I going to stand out? And one of those ways, Carl, you just mentioned, is actually by posting and increasing your presence. So you're halfway there already, I would estimate. Okay, right. So we talk about business to business, and we talk about business to consumer. And on the left-hand side of your screen just now, you can see some of the biggest brands in the world, with Barclays and Procter & Gamble, Google, just enormous brands. You've probably got $1 trillion worth of actually more than that, market cap already. However, on the right-hand side, you've got the most retweeted image. I think that's still the case. The most retweeted image in history, which is Bradley Cooper took at the 2017 Oscars. One of those faces probably shouldn't still be there. But anyway, it's retweeted something like 3.2 million times, and probably even more now. And the point here is that people don't do business with logos. Logos are important. I'm not underestimating that. People do business with people, and we want to know who you are, and because we can tell human beings, and loads of research, particularly from Stanford, has come out on this, that you can tell so much by looking at someone's photo, and that might seem kind of weird. Yes, of course, there are visual differences, but we can actually tell, an experienced communications person can tell so much more than just the obvious visual differences from someone's photo. If you're interested, I can send you a bit of a follow-up short video that I took with a photographer friend of mine that talked about that a little bit, if you're kind of interested. Okay, so what's next? So if you've got a photo on there, you'll get something like 8 times more engagement with a photo than if you don't have a photo, or if you have your logo on there, or a picture of your pet, or whatever it happens to be. Speaking of which, here's a whole bunch of photos which are, I would argue, not appropriate for your LinkedIn profile picture. And you might be wondering, why is Keith concentrating so much on my profile picture? It's because it's incredibly important. If you can imagine, I'm on my desktop machine just now with a big screen, so I can kind of see kind of see what's happening now. The majority of people, when they're searching on LinkedIn, they're going to be using one of these, a smartphone. And so you are going to have to pay extra attention as to what goes in to the top, what's called above the fold. If you bear in mind that everyone's going to be doing it from their smartphones rather than a desktop, you won't go far wrong. Excuse me. So your photo needs to be engaging. It needs to stand out amongst all the others. And if you have a pet on there, then I'm not sure that's going to help you an awful lot. I'm not going to go into LinkedIn as becoming a bit like Facebook, because there's lots of stuff you can read out there. I happen to agree with it, but I've chosen to focus on LinkedIn, and it's working well for me. I hope it's the same for you. So anyway, hopefully not too much explanation is required as to why those photos are probably not appropriate, but it just needs to be boring. Actually, it needs to be like like me, or like Carl is on the screen just now. Should we recognize you if you were to walk into my office just now? It should be that clear, well lit, and all the rest of it. Okay, so professional photo, 14 times more views than no photo at all. Okay, now I don't know, Carl, if you've managed to send a LinkedIn request, but I'm going to try and find you sort of online now, if you like. So let's get that together.
Yeah, I think I just followed you.
Oh, excellent. Okay, so Carl Morris. Morris. Okay, right. If you've just followed me, let me go to here. Let's go here. Carl G. Morris. There we go. Envision.
Yes.
Is that you?
Yes.
Now, everything that comes from me on this call, Carl, is from, I mean, in good faith, in the heart. I'm going to have a look at your profile just now, but it's my job to do the right thing by you. So I'm going to pick out some things that need a bit of attention. So it's not meant to.
No, please do, Keith. Please do. I think well, the profile picture is actually is older. I don't even have any hair these days. So
Okay.
I guess I need to change it.
You know what? That is, I kind of like that. You know what? There's a bit of context there. We would recognize you in reception. So I think that's actually okay. If you have one that would make you feel better by having it in place, by all means. But actually, you know what? That works for me. Now, I'm just going to show you mine just by way of example, in that mine is fairly close up. You probably recognize me. In fact, I think I'm wearing the same shirt there. So just happy coincidence, if you like. And you can see that LinkedIn, I mean, it really is a minuscule part of my business, but it kind of works for me. The other thing I want to do is my background here, because I run a sales training company, so I want people to follow me on LinkedIn. So I literally ask them to follow me here, and I've had a real simple, in my brand colors, an arrow. So when you go onto my profile, or be it on a cell phone or a desktop, the arrow should be pointing to a bell symbol. I'm on my own profile, so it won't do that here. So if I go to yours, now LinkedIn hasn't rolled this out to everyone. So let me just go to Bianca and see if I can see if hers has got it. Yeah, here you go. So this is someone I'm working with just at the minute. You can see there's a bell symbol here. So if I was to click on that bell symbol, perhaps it's a client that I'm looking to win. I want to know the moment that they've posted something so I can get on and engage with them. I can like, comment, share, and I can come to their attention, if you like. And that's, excuse me, that will help me. So, Carl, it doesn't seem to be on here on your profile at the moment. LinkedIn hasn't rolled it out to everyone at the minute. It's in its early stages, but if you've got a particular account, person or organization that you're focused on, you're targeting, then you can use that. Linda, similarly, you can use that to focus on someone. Okay, so so my background here. Now, Carl, because you're in the travel business, this is what I call solid gold digital real estate for you. So you can use something here, I don't know, so as long as it aligns with your brand. So where do millennials want to go? Is it the Machu Picchu Trail? Is it the Great Wall of China? Is it the Empire State Building? I don't know, but wherever aligns with your business, then think about having that as your what's called the banner photo. Okay, so on mine, but as I just kind of mentioned, all I want people to do is know that I'm in the sales training and LinkedIn training kind of business, so I'm really upfront about it. And one of the reasons I do that is because people have got a very short attention span these days, as you probably know. And that's why the other person dropped out just now. I suppose it just wasn't right for them. So people want to know what's relevant to them and what's not. So make it what I would call bleed-in obvious as to what you do, because you don't want anyone, you probably don't want to connect with anyone that is not in your sphere of interest, if you like. Anyway, okay, back to Carl. So so you've got your logo on here, which is really good. You've got your Brooklyn College, which is fantastic. And we know that you are in New York now. New York's a big state. You can drive 6 hours from one end to the other. So so maybe you want to, I don't know if you're going to do most of your business online, Carl, or whether.
Yes.
Yes, okay, so it doesn't really matter. Sometimes I coach people, if part of their business is face-to-face for whatever reason, it's really important to have their nearest big city. In the UK, you know, we would have nearest big city just in case someone's got to travel to meet you or vice versa. But this is fine. Excuse me. Okay, so we are going to now. Okay, right. So just while we're on this bit of the screen, I'm going to send you a connection request. Okay, so and it will kill two birds with one stone here. So I'm doing this on my desktop, so I'm going to click on connect. It's going to offer me the options. Just send a message. I send a connection request, just a vanilla, a duplicate, a vanilla generic connection request. But I'm actually going to put a note in, and I would probably put the reason that I want to connect with you, Carl. Now, this isn't about my typing skills, which aren't very good. And I tend to dictate most of my messages for a reason. But I'm just going to put test if that's the purposes of this call. But ordinarily, I would put something like, "Hey, Carl, I noticed that you're in this kind of business. At some point, and I actually do this quite regularly. At some point, I would love for you to buy my sales training services. So I'm very upfront about that. But for the moment, let's connect, and I hope you enjoy my content." So low tension, and polite, and all of those things, and I would make sure it's spelled correctly and all the rest of it. And so if they accept that, I'm certainly not going to follow up with a pitch, because that's tiresome. That is tiresome. Okay, but I am just going to send a text message, and that will work its way through the system, Carl. And I hope you'll accept my connection request when it finally does come through. Okay, right. So we've done that. We've done that now. Now on your screen, I'm going to keep on your screen for as much as I can. Here's the about section. This is always interesting. So we're going below the fold now. So if we're on a cell phone or a smartphone, I'm having to scroll down at this point to get to the about section. Here I'm going to find out about your business or about you. Now, self-actualization. Now, that's really interesting because what has that got to do with travel? I'm guessing, well, actually, maybe there's something there. Maybe someone's going to travel to find themselves. I'm digging deep here, Carl, so kind of bear with me. If that's what you're referring to, then that's kind of interesting. I'd be interested to know more about that. Been defined as being the best one you could be. Therefore, okay. So here we go, Carl. So my counsel is this. This needs to be about, not necessarily about you, although there will be a point at which we do want to know more about you, but how you help people. This is what I tell everyone. Why would someone be interested in engaging with you? You can help them travel to the most wonderful places around the world. You can absolutely do that. How you transform your other people's lives. Do you have any case studies for, for the kind of people, so that when someone comes across your profile and says, wow, Carl has helped those people, they're like me, perhaps Carl can help me also. That would be a really cool thing to be able to put. I'm just gonna go over to my profile here just to kind of show you what I've done for the purposes of this conversation. So if I scroll down a little bit, get to the about, I kind of tell people I've got loads of years in sales and marketing leadership. I love it. I'm passionate about it. I can probably help you. That's basically the message people are going. And the goal here is to get them to click on see more, and then there's a whole almost like a resume down here. But you've got to have the most interesting bit in the top 3 lines, because if the most interesting bit, Carl, is right down here, they'll never get to it. Okay, so you've got to think about what's in it for them, not necessarily all about you. You can certainly put that, but it needs to be further down. The priority bit is what's in it for them. Same too for you, Linda. Why do people want to connect with you, engage with you? Why is that? Okay, let's go back to Carl here just for a second. Okay, so wow, Carl, you have got 18,000 followers. Now, why would you have 18,000 followers?
Well, I've been reaching out to people for years.
Okay, is there are you secretly the chair of the NFL?
No, I've been reaching out to a lot of because I think part of my target market are educators, teachers.
Yeah.
Because they're stressed out, and I've been reaching out to people in the frontliners in the medical industry, because I think they'll be good clients because they're just wiped out as well. So I've been trying to build up so I can do my pitch.
Well, that was really interesting to discover that, because I think I've got a few followers, and I've been on there about 7 years longer than you have, and I have a mere 10,000 followers, and I know what I had to do. So you must have been connecting relentlessly. So kudos to you for that, Carl. Okay, right. So I've shown you how to connect with people, the best practice around doing that. And the about section, this is how you can transform people's lives. So you've been putting some thought into that, Carl, just now. Okay, right. So what's next? Let me go back to my I was going to say PowerPoint. I think I'm in PowerPoint. Or just to help me with my notes here a second. Okay, here there we go. There we are. Okay, right. So let's get back here. Right. So this one here is Cool. We've done that. Personal dashboard, review your profile. Yeah, okay, right, here we go. So personal dashboard. Let's go here again. Right. Now I can only do this when I'm actually logged on to the profile. So you're going to have to do this yourself. I'm going to go into my profile for this bit. So, and only this is, as you can see, private to you. So on my dashboard, I can see how many profile views I've had in the last 90 days, and you will have your number for this as well. But it's just that I can't see it.
Wow.
And how many post impressions I've had. So hopefully that's self-explanatory. And how many times my name has appeared in a search. Okay, so I do this for you, but I can't because I'm not logged on as you. Okay, so if I click on profile views here, then I can see who's looked at my profile, and you can choose to do this or not. But I generally would. So if someone is in my sort of target audience, if you like you with the educators, Carl, if I come across a salesperson or someone that's in the sales field who's looked at my profile, like Matt here, or whom I don't know, we're not connected. He's in New Jersey, and I'm not even going to say anything about New Jersey. But that's where he is, and there's a good chance Accenture have been a client of mine in the past. There's a good chance that he might be in my target market, so I might decide whether to connect with Matt. Ultimately, Matt has the decision as to whether to accept my connection or not, obviously. So I could do that. Let's go back to the screen. Equally with all the rest of the people down here, I could go back and connect with them all, and I would send them a covering message also. Do you remember, just like I sent a very brief covering message to you, Carl, I might say something like, thanks for visiting my profile. Hope you found what you were looking for. If not, feel free to direct message me, DM me, and we'll have a chat. Something really friendly, something authentic to me. I'm a beta male, so you're not going to get hounded by me. Anyway, that's my point there. Okay, so what's next? That was visiting your profile. Now, if you've got a basic LinkedIn profile, you will only be able to see the last 5 people that have visited your profile. So if you're going to get busy on LinkedIn, you need to be looking at that particular screen multiple times a day so that you can keep tracking. Now, because I'm in Yorkshire and we're very frugal with our money, I've got I think I got a free trial or something. That's the only reason I'm using a premium version of LinkedIn. Even though I'm on here a lot, the basic is generally good enough for me. Okay, so what's next? Okay, so post impressions. So I haven't been that active over the last week or so, but it'll tell you it'll give you an idea of the kind of people that are looking at your stuff, your posts. And you can see that sales specialists, business owners, business development executives, sales managers, and a journalist. Well, I don't know why a journalist would be looking at me, unless they're looking to break their next big story. Why they would be doing that. Okay. But that gives me some comfort, if you like, that actually my content is being seen by my target audience. I want salespeople, small to medium business owners. I probably don't want to be dealing with the Fortune 500. It's not really where I want to be. I want to be dealing with smaller businesses and sales professionals that are going to come to me for coaching and sales training. So I get a bit of comfort from that. Let's go back to screen again. And the last bit on the dashboard, which I want to show you, is the number of search appearances. So the more active that you are, and the better words you've got on your profile, most relevant words on your profile, you should show up in more searches, and therefore you'll get more leads coming in. Okay, so the people that are coming up with my profile, salespeople, directors, founders, strategists, business owners. So I am comfortable. I'm comfortable with that I'm hitting the right spot. And the same should be true if you're targeting, educators around travel. Then you want to see something that screams educators and travel to you. Similarly, Linda, in your business, whatever that happens to be, I hope you get the message there. Okay, now because I create content, I've got my creator mode on. Just keep an eye on time here. And then my top posts that I think will reveal a bit more. Do you remember in the about section, Carl, we talked about, don't talk about yourself just yet, talk about how you can transform your customers' lives, what you can do. Here's a chance, if people have made the effort to scroll down what we call below the fold, then you can start introducing, here's a bit more about me, because they've already decided to take more interest in you. So I've just a couple of reasonably well performing posts around stuff that's kind of happened for me. Okay, then I am going to tell you about my experience, my sales experience. What kind of sales experience have I got? And here is important to say, this is not necessarily about what you did, it's about the results you achieved for your clients. So let me just, I'm just going to tell you one thing. I did some work for, funny enough, a Fortune 500 firm. I wasn't targeting them. They called me out of the blue. They got me in to do something for BT, which is the UK equivalent of AT&T, if you like, in the telco industry. I did some work for them, and then I expressed, the kind of results that I got for them. Equally here with Lancaster University, which is a top-rated management school. In fact, they're #1 in the world, even better than Harvard for corporate strategy. And I did a sales turnaround for them, which they were really thrilled about. So, recruited further 18 students. So that's the result that I achieved for them, as opposed to just what I did. I did a sales campaign, but I achieved for them lots of recruits onto their next MBA program. That's what I helped them achieve. That's really important. So Carl here, so on your, if you've done, let's go down the bottom of your profile here, cost controls, you're in the cost control. Okay, so this needs to be helping companies across America. Okay, so it's good that your target audience is in there. Reduce costs. So it'd be great if we can have a case study in there. So for Lancaster University, that's a mini case study, 2 or 3 bullet points around what you helped them achieve. So just right off the top of my head, if you've got an educator who was just burned out, they've done the whole academic term, or maybe they've had 5 academic years of really being in, at the thick end of some pretty hectic teaching schedules, and you've created the trip of a lifetime for them. They're going to have the most wonderful experience, and they're going to come back and de-stressed, trip of a lifetime. That's how you help people transform their lives, and that's what you need to be talking about here.
Thank you, Keith.
You're welcome. Okay, so I've got 10 minutes left. You've got any questions I haven't addressed yet, stick them in the chat or just come out, ask aloud. So education, we've got economics. Okay, so that's fantastic. And you've got the logo in there, and you've got loads of endorsements here. Now, are they, now I'm not looking yet because I don't want to bias myself, but are they the kind of things that you want to be endorsed for right here, right now? Okay, so looking at leadership, management, public speaking. Okay, so those are things which are great to have. absolutely. But do you want to be known for your leadership, Carl, or do you want to be known for your fantastic travel services? I'm guessing the latter. In which case, and I can't do this because I'm not logged on as you, but you can see you've got 50 skills. You've really populated this. You've got, my goodness me, you've got loads and loads of endorsements for everything, fundraising, all the rest of it. Anyway, basically, you want to get your top 3 skills, whatever you want to be known for, and you want to move them up to the very top. So they're the visible ones. I'll just have a brief look at mine, see if I can do that. So here we go. So I want to be known for coaching and mentoring. I want to be known for strategy, and I want to be known for a little bit for leadership. And to be honest, you know, they say you should never buy a mechanic's car. So here we are. Here I am talking about my LinkedIn profile. I probably ought to have sales or business development up in my top 3 there. And I commit to you, I will do that after this call. And then we're into recommendations. So I'm a bit cynical. So if I see someone who's got travel guru next to their name, if I'm honest, I'll decide who's the guru. I let customers decide whether I'm a guru or an expert or an idiot, but I'll let them decide. So I've got some recommendations here, people that I've worked with recently that have said nice things, and it's over 100. And I'm guessing, Carl, that you will have something similar. Your profile, let's just reload that page. But I'm guessing you're going to have a load of recommendations as well. We'll find out when York, the old one where I live, is called the beautiful and ancient city of York, and the broadband here is about the same. It's beautiful, but it's ancient too. So sometimes the broadband takes a little bit longer to load as well. So let's have a look. Have you got recommendations? I can't see any recommendations. So nothing to see for now. Okay, so when you start arranging travel for people and you want a 5-star rating, that's where you want them to put the rating. Just quickly, I will go, and I can only do this from my profile. So how you ask for a recommendation, Carl, is that you go to someone's profile. I'm going to have to go to yours. You click on more, and it gives you a load of options down here. You request a recommendation there. You fill out all the boxes, and rather than just leave you with a blank sheet of paper to think about how to recommend me, I ask for some pointers. So when I'm asking for a coaching recommendation, I would say, did you learn anything from me? Would you recommend me to others? What one thing stood out for you? So just to, sometimes people, it just helps them to give them 3 specific questions to get answers to, rather than a blank sheet of paper, which I personally struggle with. But that's how to request a recommendation. Okay, and search. Okay, I just want to show you how to search. I have to go to my profile for that. Let's just say we want to approach a particular company or a particular individual. Let's, I'm going to search for, let's just say, what about California Pension Fund? CalPERS, are they on here? CalPERS, government. If you want to be helping public servants or academics or something like that, you're going to be searching for someone like CalPERS, Carl, I am guessing.
Mm-hmm.
So let's just say we want to find out, who do we want to talk to in CalPERS? So we would go along, we want to find the people in CalPERS. So let's click on people, and it's going to give us loads of options. How many options are we going to find out? Well, it's many hundreds anyway. So we want to narrow it down a little bit. Okay, so let's just say we want to find out people who deal with travel. Okay, so you can see some bands along the top here. We're going to go to all filters. We are going to want, probably in the United States, just for the sake of, we want them to currently be at CalPERS, so we're going to click in the current company. We don't want anyone that has been there in the past but left CalPERS. We want someone that's currently there. And then that's what you don't want to do. It's going to come out with some options. Let's say cheap investment. It didn't give me a chance to do that. I'm going to do that again because I pressed the wrong add company. Here we go. Scroll down. Here we go. So current company and industry. We don't need that. And then we're going to look for a job title, which is right down the bottom here. If you can see that. And what will it be? Will there be a department that says travel? Let's just have a look and find out. Let's say we want, chances are they outsource it to a Carlson, Wagonly, or an MX or something like that. But anyway, for the purposes of search, let's then press this blue button down the bottom saying show results, and it will go away, do its thing, and it's come up with, so this and travel management. So this is a director of finance, accounts, and travel management at CalPERS. So we know that we can go to Dalgit, and excuse me, and we can, just like I said, connect. Like I showed you how to connect. We could make a formal approach to Dalgit and come to their attention if that's someone we want to specifically contact. So we've been through your profile, Carl. We found some things to do. I'll send you a link to this recording afterwards if you like.
Oh yeah, please, Keith. Thank you.
And so I'll certainly do that. No, that's interesting. So okay, he's a Brit. Dalgit is a Brit. He grew up in Birmingham, went there, but he's in Sacramento now, which I think is the capital city of California, state capital of California. So Sacramento, yeah, I think so. Anyway, so we would go to Dalgit, we would approach. So we've shown how to tell people, not necessarily just about you, but how you help your clients. And we've shown you how to search for your target market. One last thing before I go, because it's 7 p.m. here in the UK. I want to show you how to make not just a post, because that's what you said at the beginning of this. You'd like to do some posting, and it's, you know, it fills some people with anxiety and all of that. So you don't want to just do a post. You want to do a post that is engaging. Okay, so I am just going to go here. Right, here we go. Here. So create an engaging post. So I'm going to click on here because this should take me to a post that I did a little while ago, but it answers the question around making an engaging post. Take me to this one, okay? Do you remember I said people are going to be searching on here? They're going to be probably while they're watching the TV or in a meeting. They shouldn't be doing that, but that's what people do. So you've got to do something that's going to make them stop scrolling. That's the objective here. Stop scrolling. So you want to the opening sentence of your post is going to need to be different to everything else that's on there. So I've got something, and mine said it's the little things. Very few other posts are going to say that. So good chance someone's going to go, oh, that's interesting. The other reason they're going to have a look at my post is because they're going to pick the biscuits here. Okay, so big fan of chocolate biscuits, and I've loved them for years. So, so the background to this post is that I ordered during lockdown. I ordered. My wife and I were both ill, not with COVID, but with something else. We couldn't get out, so we ordered something from Uber Eats, and they brought me some an order from the equivalent of Winn-Dixie or something like that, from Waitrose here in the UK, and they gave us they fulfilled our order, but as a thank you, they give us a packet of chocolate biscuits, and which was a real kindness, and I wasn't expecting it, so they exceeded my expectations, and I posted that, and this was probably printed out by a machine, but it looks like a handwritten note on the front that says thanks. And we were in the middle of lockdown. We weren't sure if the world was going to end or not. It was a real kindness that I wasn't expecting. So I wrote about it. And again, so it's little things. So great image, an engaging image that's not a stock image. It's a photo that I took, so no one else has got that photo. It's unique, genuinely unique. There's not a great mass of text here. There's lots of white space. Remember, people are going to be looking at on one of these, so it needs to be really easy to read the words. So don't have so many words there. Lots of white space. It's going to be really easy for them to read on a smaller screen. And I tagged the grocery chain, the equivalent of Whole Foods or something like that, bigger, and they got hold of it as well. So they love positivity around their brand, right? So they got hold of it, and even though you've got almost twice the number of connections that I have, Carl, kudos to you for that. But there are something like 400 odd likes and a whole bunch of comments there as well. So lots of people got hold of that and engaged with it. Lots of positivity around that brand. Therefore, lots of looks on my profile. I can't remember if I got any leads from that necessarily. That's not the point. But the point of this is to give you an idea of what it takes to create an engaging post. Anyway, listen, I am over time now, so I just want to thank you for your attention.
Wow, this was great, Keith. This was great.
Thank you so much for that. I think it's been really really useful. I've enjoyed and listen, not even an ask, it's you are very welcome to subscribe to my website, which is salesmarvel.co.uk. I'm not going to bombard you with requests for money, but I hope to be giving you some LinkedIn tips and some sales tips as well around brand positioning and stuff like that. And if we come to do business at some point, so be it. It'll be a pleasure. But right now, I'm just trying to build out my my email list, if you like. So unless there are any other questions, I'm going to call it a day, call it an evening there just now. When the recording is finished doing its thing, I'll send it out to you and to Linda as well. And I look forward to seeing you on screen or engaging with you on LinkedIn sometime real soon.
Very good, Keith. Thank you so much. I enjoyed you. I appreciate you.
Oh, bless you for that, Carl. Thank you very much. I really appreciate that. You take care. Have a good rest of your day, won't you?
Okay.
Okay, then. Take care. This is the awkward bit when I can't find the button, Linda. Here we go. End. There we go. Right. You take care.